Everybody, welcome back. It is Joyful Jalen. I'm so excited, guys, to do this video. You guys gave me 150 subscribers, over 150 subscribers. And just as I promised, I will absolutely give you my audition story of how I got into Juilliard, my dream school, while I was homeless. Before we get into it, y'all, subscribe if you think that you are a chill person. If you are not a chill person, if you do not like having honest conversations, please do not subscribe. But if you do love that type of stuff, if you do love me talking and things like that, I want to surround myself with better people. So if you think that you're someone who is working on yourself and becoming a good person, I want to be in community with you. So subscribe if you think that you are a good person. All right, guys, so let's get into it. My dream school. I have been acting since I was a baby. I was a commercial baby. My mom would take me up to New York to do like vacuum commercials and stuff like that. I saw Dave Chappelle on TV one day and I said, I want to be an actor. And my mom actually went to school with him. And they went to this arts high school, Duke Ellington School of the Arts. And I guess my mom had planned for me to also go there. Well, I already had an understanding of acting because I had been doing it in New York for so long. I auditioned for the arts high school for the 9th grade and I did not get in. I brought this film monologue when they were asking for play monologues. Y'all, the audition was so bad. I came in with one film monologue. You were supposed to have 4 plays. It was a whole thing. And I chose lottery ticket. They were like, do you have anything else from a play? And I was like, no. And they were like, okay, thank you. That's the end of the audition. So then I thought I was going to get in. I thought I ate it up. I put Dave Chappelle on all my inspiration lists. So I thought that was going to do something. But I ended up getting a call that I did not get in, and that was really, really, really bad for me. I ended up getting bullied a lot in high school and also middle school. This actually all school, I was bullied a lot. And so when it came to audition for arts high school again, I ended up getting in, but I was so sad and depressed from all the bullying that I did not want to go in. You're supposed to take this placement academic test, and I remember my mother, she wanted me to go to the school, and I was just like, Mom, I can't go in and take the test. I just don't want to do it. I want to have a normal life. I don't want to, shake the boat, rock the table. I just want to have a normal life, maybe be a doctor or something. So my mom starts crying. She drives off. She starts crying. She's like, this school was really going to be good for you. And I'm like, fine. So I go in. I take the placement test. I get into the school. In arts high school, I did not know that you could apply to acting for college. So I went to school one day and I was like, what? You can go to school for acting? And they were like, yeah. I was like, what's the best one? They were like, Juilliard. I was like, well, I'm getting to Juilliard. And they all laughed me out, all of my classmates. But it was a good school. I started smiling again. I started to, because I was bullied so bad, I just used to walk around like this as a defense mechanism to scare anybody away. But I really started to fall in love with acting. So there was a girl above me, Jamie Lawson. She was a year above me in high school and what would turn out to be college, but she had gotten into Juilliard a year before my class. And so there was this big hype around who was going to get in from my class. And they did not consider me a strong actor in high school. I guess I was really annoying, and I guess I was just not neurodivergent, and I didn't know that I had OCD, which is a video for another day. For these two people, this black girl who was a straight A student and this white boy who was a straight A student, and there were 7 of us who were going to go in for acting and apply to Juilliard. So nobody was really looking at me. They were looking at those two, the black girl and the white boy. I felt really underestimated. I felt like the underdog. I felt like no one was paying attention to me. And so people start going up to audition, and one by one they're getting rejected. And then like it was like 5 people had gone and they had all gotten rejected. My turn to go. I'm the last one. And everyone's like, well, if everyone else went to Juilliard and got rejected, well, Jalen's not going to get in. I was the last person to audition. Go up there, we take the bus early in the morning, and I'm like crying because I know this is what I really want, and I don't know what my future's going to hold, and I don't know where I'm going to go. Listening to my music, I'm hyping myself up, like I'm getting in the swing. Me and my mom, we're in New York. We don't know where to go. New York is like this big crazy place. Mom, we're going to be late. We're going to be late. You know, I might as well give up right now if I'm late. It's Juilliard. It's the best school in the world. Long story short, we finally find our way there. I am like 15 minutes late, but it doesn't matter because they had expected people to be late. So they hadn't even started the part where they all get together. I remember being really nervous, and everybody's like all dressed in black. The other contestants are dressed in black and, you know, doing their warm-ups, and you see people like stretching and doing all these vocal warm-ups. And I didn't know what to do, so I just sat there, and I felt bad that I didn't have like special warm-ups or anything. And I remember seeing a girl, Catherine Renee Kane. If you guys don't know her, please look her up. I remember seeing her and I was like, oh my gosh, I saw you in a play at DC. And she's like, oh, okay. But she kind of like shooed me off. Not in a mean way, but she really wanted to just work on her stuff. And I understand now. So my last name is Coleman. So alphabetically, I was one of the first to go. They do a warm up with us. And then there's like a clap tunnel for you, and it really inspires you and you feel excited. Sitting outside of the room, and there's like 2 people ahead of me, but I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous. The room monitors, the current students, they were all really nice. And finally they call my name and I freeze up. So before I go in, one of the guys is like, pretend that you have the biggest in the room. And I was like, I don't know if that's helpful, but I didn't say that, but in my head I did. And the girl, she is like, just pretend. No, what did she say? She said, just feel the room. So I go in there and I'm like, guys, I'm not joking. I'm like, oh, wow, oh. And so the current teachers or the auditioners start laughing. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just feeling the room. And they bust out laughing. And they're like, it's so funny, Jalen, you instinctively landed on the line. And I'm like, that's what happens when you feel the room. And it just kept like, I kept the laughter up. And so they're like, so what do you have for us? And this is where things get a little scary because I had practiced. My teacher had said, don't say I'm doing this monologue. Say, this is a gift from Shakespeare, yada, 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 yada. That threw me off because I had not practiced it that way. So I'm like, my name is Jalen. This gift of Shakespeare is from... My name is Jalen, the Shakespeare of the gift. My name is Jalen. This is a gift from Shakespeare, and it's called The Gift. They're busting out laughing. They think this is hilarious. But, guys, it gets so bad. They stop laughing. Laughter turns into concern. After like the 12th time, yes, it felt like the 12th time, they could tell I was really, really nervous, and they were just like, stop. Just breathe and do your piece. So I breathe, I do my piece. They're like, come here. I go up to them, they're like, you know, you actually have to feel something when you're doing this. And my heart dropped. Like, my heart dropped to the bottom of the floor because as an actor, I thought I was feeling something, and they basically just told me I wasn't feeling anything. So they're like, yeah, let's try it again and actually feel something. So I do it again, and they're like, stop, 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 stop. They give me a note, and it took me like 5 tries. Like they were really trying with me. It took me like 5 tries to get the note. And they're like, okay, do you have a song? I don't know why I thought it would be brave or courageous to like look them in the eyes. So I sing The Color Purple from The Color Purple, but I look them in the eyes and it's the most cringe-worthy thing. And you could see their faces. They're like, ooh. So they're like, thank you. Can you try the song a different way? And so that's code word for can you like not look at us? But for some reason, I just dropped to the floor. As weird as it sounds, is as weird as it happened. I dropped to the floor like Woody from Toy Story on my knees. So you would think I would change where I look. I'm still looking them in the eyes while I'm on the floor. It was so embarrassing, y'all. I don't know why I did that. They're like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So I leave and I felt myself lose. Like I felt the loss. Like I felt like that was really bad. Why would they send me out like that? Um, but then the girl who told me to fill the room, she's like, hey, they want to see you again. So, guys, I get so hype. I'm like, all they have to do is give me a chance and I will knock this out the park. So I go back in there and they're looking at each other. They're like, dude, you have anything else? They're like, we are trying to help you out. And guys, I had memorized, I think 6 or 7 pieces. You're only supposed to memorize 4. I had memorized 6 or 7. And I was like, I got this, and da da da, 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 and da da da. And they were like, yeah, try that. I do it, and I get a laugh. And so I heard that laugh, and they're like, thank you, Jalen. Back when I auditioned in 2020, you audition at like 9 a.m., and then you have to wait for 3 p.m. to figure out all who got a call back. So me and my mom are exploring New York City. My mom gets me a massage because she knows how stressed I am. And so we come back at 3, and everybody gets an email at the same time. And everybody's phone is buzzing, and people start crying. You see some people start jumping up and down. And I feel the phone buzz in my pocket. I look at it, it says Juilliard. And I'm like, Mom, I can't look. I don't know if I got it or not. And I'm scared to look. And my mom's like, Jalen, I'll still love you. And I'm like, Mom, that wasn't a question. Like, but then I'm like, I can't do it, Mom. She's like, do you want me to do it? I'm like, no, I'll look. So I look, I got the call back. So I start jumping up and down, and I look around, and it's like, oh crap, I can't do that because there's some people who didn't get a call back. Cut. So we go up the elevator, and it is a clap tunnel for us again, and people are taking pictures for like with our number, and they lead us up to this buffet of food. And so not only is there a buffet of food, there's the Juilliard drama wall that has a lot of famous people on it, like the different alumni who went to the school. And then you have the TV with all of the current students on it. And it just gets you so hyped and so excited. End up saying like, hey guys, we're gonna have you do a monologue again. And I was like, please don't make me do Biff. Please don't make me do. In the back of my head, I'm like, please don't make me do that. That's the one they kept working. They kept working that monologue, and I just could not take the note. And they were like, Jalen, you're going to be working on Biff. I'm like, oof. So it's my turn to go up. After you fill out like a bunch of questions of like, why do you want to be an actor? And, so it's my turn to go, and I'm like, I'm about to kill this audition. They let me in the door. I'm the type of person, once I know that you like me, oh, I'm going to give you the performance of a lifetime. So I go in, and it's the entire faculty. It's like 20 people in there. They're like, hey, Jalen. I'm like, hey. They're like, let's see Biff. I do Biff. And Richard, one of the main teachers, is like, sit down for us. So I sit down. He's like, is there someone that you care about? And I'm like, yeah, my mom. And he's like, oh, okay. Can we see you do a song? So I go, I do the song, and y'all, I killed it. I was belting for my life. I was like, I'm going to give it everything I have. So I think I killed it, and they're like, thank you, Jalen. Thank you. Thank you. So I do that, and then it was a long time, guys. Like, it was like becoming like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And they called some of us for an interview. And I was like one of the last people at the interview. And it was Richard and Deb Hecht. And they're interviewing me. And guys, I knew that interview was coming, so I had looked at a bunch of Will Smith interviews just so I could like copy them. But yeah, I was very strategic about my interview and what I was gonna say, and you know, uh, they had me read something, and I read it, and maybe that was a test to see like how fast I could read. Because if you're an actor, you're gonna need that in school. So I go home. Everyone's excited for me. No one thought that I was gonna get a call back, let alone make it to an interview. So everyone at the school is treating me differently. And it's really interesting because at the time we were working on a play in high school with this really mean and nasty director. And she was mean, like she would scream at us, and she was ruthless. And we're like 16, 17. People start treating me differently. They're just like, oh, Jalen's my best friend, and just treating me a lot differently. Now, when I get to school the next day or so, we're in arts block, and we're working on the play, and someone comes down to get me, and they're like, Jalen, you need to come to the office right now. And so I go to the office. I'm like, what's happening? And one of my acting teachers is like, hey, your mom just got evicted. You've been evicted, and I don't want you to worry. I don't want you to panic. Your mom just kept asking, is Jalen okay? Is Jalen okay? Is Jalen okay? And so I'm like tearing up because it's just weird. It's like embarrassing. So she's just like, you know, Tyler Perry was also evicted, and look where he is now. And she's like, you're going to get into Juilliard. We know you are. And we're looking for a place for you to stay right now. So they found us a place to live, and it was a nice place, like in somebody's basement, but it was like furnished. And at the same time, so we're staying there, and I get the confirmation that I've been accepted to callback weekend. So I'm like, this is great. I can't afford to go. And they're like, oh no, don't worry about it, because we're paying for it, like, and we'll just reimburse you. Like, we'll put you in a hotel. So I go up there back to New York. This is like a month later. I go back to New York, and they put me in this fancy hotel on like the 30th floor, and you can like look out of the skyline. It was beautiful. and I'm sick. And I have this terrible head cold, and I hope it gets better by the next morning. They have a whole weekend planned, and it is not better by the next morning. It's even worse. First thing on the schedule is to meet the faculty. There's a lot of food. There's a lot of food at callback weekend. So we eat and talk over food, and I think I'm doing a terrible job. I'm like shy. And one of the teachers comes up and is like, "Are you Jaylene?" And I'm like, "My name is Jalen," but I wasn't going to tell her that. I'm not correcting anybody. So my name just became Jaylene for the entire weekend. Like, y'all can just call me Jaylene because I'm not correcting anybody. We take a bunch of classes, and after we eat, we start classes, and all the teachers are in each class taking notes of us. So it's really high intensity. And the first class is like this intense cardio movement class. And I was like, crap, I have asthma, but I'm not giving up. I don't care. So I'm going crazy. We're doing jumping jacks. And then that's how I realized that I outgrew my asthma. Because usually I would have a severe asthma attack, but it just wasn't bothering me then. The rest of the weekend was really, really intense because you're taking these classes with these movement classes, speech classes, it's improv classes, it's singing classes. You're taking all of these classes, and it's 50 other people in the room with you. So not only are you up against competition, but you're also going up. The teachers are watching. I felt really bad again because of the head cold, but I take this improv class with Richard, and there's this boy who ends up becoming one of my best friends in school, but we get paired up together, and I think he's doing a terrible job. Like, we're like on the beach, but then I think we're about to open up a coconut, and he's like fighting a crab, and then like he's fighting a monster, and I'm like at a campfire, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, he is making us look really bad right now. It was crazy because I was like offering him food, and he's like fighting the thing in my hand, and I'm like, what is he doing? There was a boy who kind of looked like me, and we met in the bathroom, and he was like, hey, and I was like, hey. And in the back of my head, I was like, you are going down. It can only be one of us. And so he ended up getting into school, but there was a cutthroat part somewhere in me. Taking care of us, they're feeding us, and they take us to go see a play, and it's this comedy clown show. It was so funny, and so we have to talk about the show afterwards. So we talk about the show the next day, and I remember people were like talking. We split off into groups, and people are talking over each other, and I couldn't get a word in. Like the whole weekend, I could barely get a word in. And then I finally got a chance to say something, and me and this girl start talking at the same time, and I'm like, ladies first, like, go ahead. And I think that was a green flag for them, like that I can be kind and patient. Ended up getting into. Overall, the weekend felt bad for me because I was so sick, and I felt like I was failing. I felt like my social anxiety was kicking in. I felt like I wasn't really talking to the teachers. And so one of our last classes is to like walk around the room. So we're walking around the room, and this big guy bumps into me, and I fall onto the floor. He didn't do it on purpose, but I just was so embarrassed to fall on the floor in front of all those teachers. And if you guys know anything about acting, walking around the space is like the first thing you do as an actor. So I felt like I failed at the most basic thing. So then the last class is singing. And we're getting taught the song, we're learning the song, and we start singing, and for some reason I start thinking about my ex-crush who had just graduated and how I was never going to see my crush again. I'm thinking about it, and the tears just start rolling from my eyes. And so I see the teachers making notes and stuff, and I'm like, wait, they're feeling this. And so they're like, is there anyone brave enough to sing the song by themselves? And so I slowly raise my hand, and they're like, Jalen. And so I sing it, and I am boo-hooing, y'all, like, oh my gosh. So something changed in the room after I did that. And so Richard starts giving us improv things to do. Like, okay, you two do it as if you're getting a divorce. You two do it as if those two are puppies and you're trying to decide which puppy to choose. You two do it like she's your lover and she just made your favorite food. Like, it just was silly stuff like that. And when it got to me, it was like, Jalen, try this song as a rock star. And so it was My Funny Valentine, that was the song. And I was like, my funny Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. I didn't know anything about rock and roll, but I learned that day. And then I high-fived the girl who I got assigned with, and we got a standing ovation. Like, the entire room was like applauding, and it just was really, it was really special. And so then we're supposed to circle up. We knew it was the last class, and it was about 50 of us, and we knew that only 18 would get in. So they have us circle up and sing the song, and we start sobbing, like, we're cried out, like, and so we all hug and say our goodbyes. And then I go up to Jim Houghton, who was the head of the program at the time, and I'm like, thank you for having me out here. Thank you for feeding me and paying for me. And he's like, no, thank you. So I go back to school the next day, and I'm all beaten up, and my voice hurts from all the screaming and just from the ruckus of the day. And so I get this call, and it's a New York number. And someone answers and it's like, hey, I want to offer you. No, first of all, I'm like, I'm sad because I'm like, this could be them telling me that I didn't get it. And she's like, oh, that's so funny. We wanted to offer you acceptance into the Juilliard School. And I'm like, what? I just got accepted to Juilliard. Like, I say it to one of my teachers. And she's like, no, you can't tell anyone. It's not official yet. Like, you know. But while I'm on the phone with her, someone is going around telling all of the other actor students. So by the time I get off the phone, all the actors are there cheering me on, basically throwing me up in the air, jumping on my back. And then someone goes and makes an announcement in the whole school. And so I'm like, oh crap, I haven't even told my mom. And my teacher's like, well, you better tell her before someone else does. And so I planned like a little secret surprise way to tell my mom. But before I get to tell my mom, remember that mean director lady I had? She is like, I'm just in awe of the day. And she's like, Jalen, are you listening? We need you downstage left, whatever it was. And she's like, are you listening? And I'm like, no. And everybody, this is how you know she had everyone terrified. Everyone goes, oh! And she's like, excuse me? I have never seen such disrespect. She's running up and down the hallways, screaming in the theater. And I'm like, I just got accepted to Juilliard. We're just going back and forth, talking over each other. I just got accepted to Juilliard. You have always been so mean. and I just got evicted. And so everyone gasped again. It was very dramatic. And so she stops and she's like, everyone, let's come down here for a second. Let's break for the day. Jalen, can I talk to you? And she's like, I did not know that you were evicted. I did not know that that was your story. And then, I thought my feet were stinking. So I'm like, hey, if you smell my feet, like, I'm so sorry. It was kind of funny. But she started to respect me that day because I had like put my foot down and, so later that day I had to tell my mom. And so I ask her if she can pick me up, and she picks me up, and I start an argument with her. I'm like, Mom, I hate that we're homeless, and why does it always have to be like that? And she's like, why are you going off right now? What? Jalen, I'm trying my best. I'm doing it. And I'm like, well, you need to try harder, because I just got accepted to Juilliard. And she's like, what? No way. And she starts swerving the car. And do not tell your people good news while they're driving. But she starts crying. And yeah, I ended up getting full tuition. Thank God. And yeah, that was one of the best days of my life. It was one of the best days of my life. Just amazing to see how God can take you from a very terrible place to a really high, amazing place. I also ended up getting a lot of scholarships from school. My teachers started to see me and respect me, and people really switched up and they were like, oh, we always knew that you could do it, which was a little fake, but it felt amazing to win all those scholarships and be considered talented. Then I ended up winning. It was me and the other white boy who they thought was going to get in. We ended up winning Best Actor together. Best Actor at the high school. Yeah, guys, that is my personal story of how I got into Juilliard. It has been such a blessing. I would recommend that school to any person who wants to be an actor. Hey guys, so I was going back. This is editing Jalen. I also want to mention that Jim Houghton passed away a week after we got accepted into Juilliard, which means he gave us a stamp of approval and we didn't even get to thank him. He gave us a stamp of approval, then he passed away of cancer. And so that's a very emotional part of the story because we didn't even get to say thank you. We didn't know that he was going through that. We didn't know that he had a condition or that it was that serious. So that adds a layer of extreme gratitude to the story. My class was extremely grateful to Jim. If you don't know him, look him up. His name is Jim Houghton. He was an extraordinary man in the theater, and it just was so sad to be accepted and not say thank you. So yeah, guys, if you made it this far, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Subscribe if you think you're a chill person or you think you're a good person and you like to support other people and have conversations with other people. Let me know what you guys want to talk about next. Yeah, moral of the story is just even though people doubt you and people may not see it for you, keep going. Keep going. Other people see you and God sees you. All right, y'all. Well, I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.